Hi, this is Stephen from the Training Gyms, and on today's podcast, I talk a little bit about who it is we serve and how we do it. So today, I wanted to answer a question someone asked me just the other day, which is, who do we serve at the Training Gyms and how do we serve them, essentially? So, and they were meaning, they're actually asking specifically for them. So they were asking, would this be right for me? And so I was trying to explain that I think they were 42, so they were only 42, but they hadn't really got much. They didn't have much confidence in fitness. So they had been to the gym previously when they were much younger, but they haven't been for a long period of time, and they were very concerned about the options that they actually thought they had to get back into fitness, going into a big gym or going even into a gym environment, personal training gym environment that was just seemed too much for them. So I was explaining how we work and who we work with. So I think one of the critical things to understand is that we are a personal training gym, and that means that you're always being coached. So you're always being looked after by a specialist personal trainer. And the reason I always say specialist is that we have really, really time-tested, effective protocols and systems to make sure that we're able to help people in the most effective way. So, for example, this person I was speaking to, this gentleman, was just saying how they'd had a knee injury. They'd injured themselves skiing a while back, and they had obviously had the operation, had some physio that you get normally, but they just didn't feel confident in their knee. And I was explaining how one of the things we do, or many of the things that we do, we have some very specific rehabilitation protocols, because there is a big gap between being left by the physio to then actually being. All of our education systems have come from professional sport. So it's come from dealing with athletes that have to get back to playing sport. So they talk in those terms, game ready. And what you always find is that people never feel, so he doesn't feel ready to go back skiing, which we'd call as game ready. So there is a big gap between rehab in this style and then being game ready, being ready to be back to how you were originally. So we have specific protocols for your knee, for your lower back, for your shoulder, all of the most important areas that people injure. We have specific protocols that we put our clients through that came from professional sport and that we know are super, super, super effective at getting people back to where they were pre-operation, for example, or pre-injury. And that applies to whether this gentleman's 42, injuring himself when he was skiing, which is very common, or he could be 60 with a hip replacement. These protocols are very, very effective. So that's one of the aspects of what we do. I think the other aspect is the understanding that you're always being coached and looked after. So one of the critical things that people find that derails them from being successful in fitness and achieving their goal ultimately. When I say being successful in fitness, I mean ultimately achieving what they want to achieve. So that could be losing 3 stone. It could be like with this chap, he just wanted to be able to he actually just wanted to be able to run. He wasn't really even talking about skiing because he's got young kids and stuff, and he's probably not thinking about going skiing right now, but he wanted to be able to run and just be able to be active. And so that's one of his goals. So it could be losing body fat, specific amount of body fat. So you'll see in a lot of the success stories, testimonials, things like that a lot of people have lost a considerable amount of weight. And there is a specific way we do that. We have a specific process protocol that is individual, but we know is successful for people to go through to achieve considerable amounts of fat loss. So I think the overarching thing is the specialism, because the human body is very unique, very individual, and it's the ability for people to be coached, to know that they're doing it right. That's one of the other critical things. I think everyone only has a certain amount of time to invest in their fitness, and you want to know that you're doing it right to be as effective as possible. You also want to know that you're doing it safely so that you're not going to hurt yourself whilst you're trying to do something positive. And ultimately as well is the ability to modify or to understand how you can make small changes in your whole lifestyle that have big impacts. So we'll often talk to clients about sleep, stress reduction strategies, relieving strategies, all these different things that can impact your health and fitness. So ultimately, when I was answering that question for him, I was just explaining that often we tend to find that people that just, it's not a particular age actually, it's an understanding that they just don't feel comfortable in a normal gym, or they want a better experience than normal gym. So there's two aspects. Either they don't feel comfortable in that environment, so they're not really going to be successful in it because they can't really get themselves to enjoy it and turn up and be there and do well, or they actually just want a higher level of experience from fitness, because why wouldn't you? It's like anything else. There's different levels of experience. So we specialize in the coaching side of it and also the experience side of it. And everything that we do is designed to get you where you want to go. And a lot of that comes down to the ability to deal with you as an individual and to be a specialist in ultimately all of the things that tend to happen as we move through life. Like with this chap, it was his knee injury. And that can either be, he can get over that, or that could still be causing him problems in 20 years' time if he doesn't do it correctly. So that's our aim, is that we specialize in making sure that people are successful in fitness, and we ultimately are here to get you to where you want to go, whether that be losing 3 stone, could be like with this chap rehabbing his knee, to then allow him to be able to have a goal of it was actually to run a marathon, I think, but right now he's not ready for that, but in the future that's where he wants to get to.